Hey y'all, I'm here to provide a little bit of assistance with your homework. I do advise that you get a sheet of notebook paper or a notebook to kind of show your work on separate paper if necessary. So I've got my notebook here and then I've got the assignment here. I'm also going to try and touch on these IXL lessons to demonstrate how to show your work if I have time in my video. So let's start at the beginning. So it says write an equation of a line and slope-intercept form with the given slope and intercept. So this is y equals mx plus b. You must see a y and an x. The m is going to be replaced by the slope. The b is going to be replaced by the y-intercept. So for example, if it says my slope is 12 and my y-intercept is -4, then I would say y equals 12x minus 4. That's all I'm doing. So I'm taking this number, making it the coefficient of x, and then adding 3. I'm taking this number, making it the coefficient of x, and this is a -4, so instead of writing +4, I'm going to write -4. Here, I would like for these to be fractions so that we can see the rise and the run. And over here, I would also like this to be a fraction to see the rise and the run. These are self-explanatory. Here, it says write an equation in slope-intercept form for each graph shown. Well, first, make a table. Always make tables so that we can translate this or transport this straight to Desmos. So my first coordinate pair is 0, 2. My other one is -5, 0. So I'm going to come to Desmos, make a table, 0, 2, -5, 0. So it plots the points there, and then I'm going to hit my regression button so I can see the equation. Y equals 4/10 x plus 2. Remember, I want them in in fraction form. So come here, click Export Custom Regression, and then down here type the m and the b, and then convert m into a fraction. So you'll have 2/5 x plus 2. So then I'll come put that right here. Over here, make a table. Y, 0, 3, -2, 0. This goes straight into Desmos. All of the things should already be there. The only thing you would need to do is change these points. Same for this one. -3 and 0 and 0, -2. Do not forget your x. Just because they didn't put it there doesn't mean it's not supposed to be there. I need to see y equals mx plus b. You have to have the x there. This is not an appropriate equation. Y equals 5 plus 2. Well, then y equals 7. Okay, I should not be able to combine these. I don't want to see that. I want to see y equals mx plus b. Y equals 5x plus 2. That's what I want to see. Here, this says graph each equation. You can put this in Desmos. Y equals -1/2 x plus 2. So type it in. Y equals -1/2 x plus 2. I should see a diagonal line. Let me get rid of all these extra things. Then, in order to figure out what points I can put on my graph, I can click this gear button and then create a table. So these are points. I like to use the points that are not decimals because I don't want to plot halfway on my line. I want friendly points. So I'm going to have 0, 2, and 2, 1. So when I come to my paper, 0, 2, and 2, 1. So then I'm going to run 0 and jump 2, and run 2 and jump 1. Then I'm going to use my straight edge, which is my ID, to connect those points. It must go all the way through. See how it goes all the way through my coordinate? I don't want to see half lines or segments. Then over here, I need to solve for y. How do I get y by itself? You have to figure that out. Over here, I've also got to solve for y. Now, I also could have taken my y-intercept here, plotted the 2, and then gone down 1 and over 2, and down 1 and over 2, which is another way to plot points on this line. Down here, it says Carla has already written 10 pages of a novel. So let's come over here and plot my 10. 0, 10. Now it's going to be halfway between 0 and 20. She plans to write an additional 15 pages per month. That is a rate. Wherever you see the word per, for each, for every, that is a rate. So this equals, well, y equals 15x plus the 10 that she already started with. Okay, so that's my equation here. Then it says graph the equation on the grid at the right. Go to Desmos. Put this in there. X, Y. My first point is 0, 10. And then it says find the total number of pages after 5 months. So I need 5 here, and I need this value. You can type this in Desmos to get the answer for this once you've done this. So this first in Desmos, and then hit the gear, and then have Desmos make the table. You are not making this table, Desmos is. You're going to do the same exact steps that I just did on this problem right here. You can do that for anyone, really. So close this. Let's say y equals 18x minus 9. If I want to know a certain value, let's say I want to know how long or how much will be the value after 12 months. I'm going to put 12 months here, and it'll be 207 pages if this were a different equation. If I say 36 months, it'll be 639 pages, okay? So that's how Desmos makes the numbers and answers for you as long as you give it the equation in y equals mx plus b form. All right, let's go to the back. Here, Desmos. Put the equation in Desmos, find your 2 points. Actually, you don't even have to do that. Start with -2. -2, 1, 2, plot your point. Then you're going to rise 7 and run 2. So from there, you're going to go up 7 and to the right 2, plot your point, and then connect it. Over here, because this is my slope, my y-intercept is -2. Over here, what's your slope? What's your y-intercept? Start with your y-intercept. This is your starting value. So I'm going to start with 3, and then you rise this number, and you run what we discussed in class. We talked about how to turn this into a fraction so I can see how much I'm rising and running. This will not be 6 over 3 or 3 over 6. I don't put those two together. Okay? This just so happens to be like this because this is 7/2 and that's -2. Furthermore, there is no -2 over here. Let's put the equal sign. I'm trying to think of another one. Here, my slope is 15 and my y-intercept is 10. Is not 15 over 10. My slope equals 15 divided by 1. Okay, it's an integer. Here, this will be a 0 slope. Make a table. All of your y values will be -5. You can put any x value there as long as it's on this table and then connect them. Any two numbers from -6 to +6. Over here, this is a positive slope, 6/5, and 1 is your y-intercept. Over here, positive slope, and 2 is your y-intercept. And this one's the opposite of this one, where my x value is going to be 5, and my y values are going to be any number that I want to put here. Any number between -6 and 6. So any of these numbers here, connect the 2 points. And then you can tell me what kind of slope this is. You can get bonus points. All right, so there's that. Okay, let's take a look at IXL lesson RPQ. Go to IXL here. All right, so it says Derek is renting a van from Abby's Autos. Is this RPQ? Yep. He will be charged an initial fee to rent the van and an additional amount that depends on how far he drives it. So I need to look at my graph here and see what my rate's going to be. It's going to be cost per miles. So my distance is going to be on the bottom of my fraction and the cost is going to be on the top. Wherever you're finding a rate, typically you put money on top, money over everything. So I'm going to come to my paper real quick, make a table, and it's going to be cost in miles. Okay, so let's start with the first point and interpret what that means. This is 0 miles driven. That's my initial fee, my $50. I have to pay $50 to rent this car for starters. So it's 0 miles, $50. That's my first coordinate pair. Now I have to go back and find another friendly point. That means this here because it goes through 3 lines, 1, 2, 2 gray, and 1 blue. So that means after 100 miles, I have to pay $70. So I'm going to write 100 miles and $70. Now I'm going to go to Desmos and write this as an equation. Notice I'm clearing everything out. 0 and 50. 100 and 70. Regression, regression. M and B. Turn them into a fraction. So this is y equals 1/5 x plus 50. Then I'm going to say 1 mile, or sorry, $1 is for 5 miles. Because I've got, cost over miles. That's 1 over 5. And then I start at $50. So then when I go to IXL, what does the y-intercept tell me? So the y-intercept is my starting value. My starting value was $50. But it won't hurt to have all of this information here so you know all the pieces. This is my starting value. This is my rate. So come, check, got it. Here, it says during the winter, Dan drives a truck that uses the device to spread salt on icy roads. As he drives, the amount of salt in the truck decreases, so it goes down. My first point is pounds and miles. So 0 miles and I have 1,600 pounds. Miles, pounds of salt, 1,600. Find another friendly point. This guy right here, 12 and 800. Come to Desmos. Keep your table. 0 and 1,600. 12 and 800. I'm losing 200 pounds every 3 miles. So negative 200 over 3. That's miles and pounds. And then my y-intercept, this is my m. My y-intercept is 1,600. That's where I start. So I come over here. I got this written down. Y equals negative 200 thirds x plus 1,600. It says after covering 12 miles of icy road, the truck has 800 pounds left. But we want to know the slope, the rate. So this is a true fact, but this doesn't talk about the rate. The rate we wrote here has to do with 203. Here's the 200.